Hello and welcome back to another episode of ShoopShow. And if you haven't noticed already, 50% of the cast is not here right now, and that is because our nation's inability to be proactive during a global pandemic has resulted in Georgia and I needing to at least temporarily part ways and film separately. If it looks like these walls were painted by a 7th grade girl, it's because I painted them when I was a 7th grade girl, and I regret it. But I've worked very hard to cover up these awful color combinations with beautiful fan art of my favorite Korean idols. In this episode, I'm going to be ranking random things, so let's get started. Let's just say if I had to name my top 4, they would be all 4 Toy Story films, because I love all of them. Mint tea. I love the taste of mint. I used to swallow toothpaste for fun as a child because it was that damn delicious. True happiness is having your esophagus feel like the polar ice caps. The fact that I can take this mint flavor and drink it in the form of hot water is amazing to me. Earl Grey tea. It wasn't until recently that I first tried Earl Grey tea because the name of it sounded disgusting to me. Earl to me sounds like an old gray, dirty uncle, and Grey sounds like old dirty people. And neither of those things sound delicious. But then when I finally tried Earl Grey, I was like, Earl Grey? This is Earl Great. We've got chai tea. Don't have much to say about chai tea, I just think it's the best tasting tea out there. I love watching documentaries, specifically prehistoric documentaries. So these are my top prehistoric animals, and we're not talking about dinosaurs, we're talking about post-dinosaur time. So we've got Ambulocetus, which is basically pre-whale whale. If you didn't know, whales before they were whales used to live on land and have feet. Eventually, when there wasn't enough food on land, they had to start going into the water, and that's when they became Ambulocetus, where they were basically water-dwelling mammals with flipper swimming feet. Alright, we got Terror Bird. So Terror Bird was this ground-dwelling giant bird that could run really fast and had a giant beak. So what he would do is he would find his prey, and he would chase after that prey, and then he would take his giant beak and just zoink on the back of the prey's head, or neck essentially, paralyzing this animal, and then boom, just goes to town. Alright, so we got Rachmaninoff. Russian. Great. Rachmaninoff. You could say I can't get Rachman enough of his music. We've got Mussorgsky. Another Russian. Mussorgsky. You could say that his music gives me an ear Mussorgsgasm. If you haven't noticed, I'm particularly drawn to the Russian classical composers. You could say that they are Russian in the classical music industry. William Grant Still. He is an African-American composer, very underrated. Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress is not a very well-known anime, but I think it's a great anime. The artwork is stunning. It's about zombies, but they're not classic zombies. It's zombies done well, let's just say. So we've got One Punch Man. It is incredibly hilarious and action-packed. If you like comedy and you like action, One Punch Man is for you. Ghost Stories, English dub. I know that watching anime with English dub is generally sacrilegious. The only proper way to watch Ghost Stories is with the English dub. It is hilarious. I've heard that the voice actors for the English dub just went completely off script and didn't give a shit, and it's a complete shit show, but it's the most beautiful shit show. Mid-coitus. Need I say more? Suffocated underneath a pile of snuggly puppies. Isn't that just the dream? Ingesting a drug that turns my internal organs into glitter. The possibility that I could just become glitter, I live to die that way. That's the only reason I'm still alive today, is the hope that technology will allow me to become glitter. I could dedicate a whole episode to listing off fun facts about Victorian-era danger things, but here are just a few. They were really passionate about making all of their food very brightly colored, so in order to make mustard as yellow as it could be, they would use the same chemical used to make yellow school bus paint today. If you don't know what borax is, it's a chemical that you don't want to ingest. So they would put the borax in the milk so that when the milk started to go bad, it still tasted fine, but it didn't get rid of all of the bacteria that grows in milk when milk goes bad. So what would happen is you'd get bovine tuberculosis. And bovine tuberculosis basically softens your bones. Say you had a spine that was like a nice little S shape and stuff, but with bovine tuberculosis you might get like a little type of thing. That's a fun fact. Plumbing was a little rough during the Victorian era. And basically, the plumbing, if it didn't allow any place for the methane to escape, sometimes the methane would go backwards up in the toilet and could potentially cause your toilet to explode. They believed mercury could cure syphilis, so they would put it in their brandy or sometimes just directly inject it into the penis, and that could make your hair and teeth fall out, but hey, at least you don't have syphilis. Alright, so that's all the categories I have on my docket for today. I hope you found that at least somewhat entertaining. Until next time, this has been Sara from ShoopShow.